All right. If the jury is ready, we'll bring him in.
Point at him, please. Strong. No, I'm in there. Oh, well, that's not.
Everyone stand, please.
I gave it to you yesterday.
You may be seated. Thank you.
All right, General.
Judge, the state would introduce it. I'm sorry.
You can do an opening statement if you would like to.
Okay, no, state doesn't need to do any opening statement.
Do you have an opening?
I do.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, although I may not agree with your verdict, I respect your verdict. I respect you. And I thank you for your time. And I have one more thing to ask you. You have to make a decision now, and that decision it's going to mean the difference. If you sentence Megan Boswell to life in prison, she'll be released when she is probably 69 years old. It'll be 8. She's been in jail. You probably realize she has been in jail since she was 18 years old. She went to jail February 25th of 2020, and she hasn't been released. So with that said, if you give her a life sentence, it would be 51 years. That's what I'm asking you to do. If you give her a life without sentence, she will never be released from prison. That's the difference. So it would be the difference between her being released at what I believe would be 69 to 70 years old, or never being released. In doing this process, and Judge Goodwin will read you some very short jury instructions compared to what you heard yesterday. You look at statutory aggravating factors and mitigating factors. In this case, the state will submit the age of the child as the aggravating factor. Our mitigating factors, we've listed several of those. They include no significant criminal history, her youth and age at the time the offense was committed. She was 17 when she had Evelyn. She was 18 when Evelyn died. You'll hear more about her unstable and chaotic home life. You'll hear from her mother, Angela Boswell. She's here today. You'll hear from Angela about domestic violence that Megan witnessed between her parents. You'll hear from Angela about drug use that Megan witnessed her parents engage in. You also hear about her schooling. It wasn't seamless, and how one of her primary role models was her grandfather, Tommy Boswell's father. He died when I think she was 11 or 12 years old. You'll hear that. And then finally, you'll hear a little bit about her younger siblings, Elijah and Charlotte. Elijah has a disability that Megan has looked after him and tried to help take care of him. And then you're also free to look at any other thing you've heard in the proof and making that decision as far as a mitigating factor. Anything else you've heard in all the proof from any of the witnesses. And also, you'll probably hear from Gail Kite. You've heard from her once before, but you'll hear a little bit more from her about the shape Megan was in when she came into her home. And you'll hear from, we expect to call Mary Boswell. She is Megan's grandmother. I think most of you recognize the name of Mommy at this point. You'll hear from her and what she witnessed and her participation in raising Megan. So it's a hard decision. It's not a light decision. You've made a hard decision already, and it's my hope that after you see this, you will come to the conclusion that maybe at 69 years old, it would be fair for her to be released from prison.
All right. General, proof.
Yes, Judge. At this time, the state would introduce a copy of the birth certificate of Evelyn Boswell.
All right. That'll be Exhibit 262. I'm going to keep the exhibits in sequential numbers, but I've started a new sheet for the sentencing part. It'll be Exhibit 262. Any other proof, General?
No, Judge. At the state address.
All right. Mr. Scott?
Should we call Angel Boswell? Angel Boswell.
Raise your right hand, ma'am. And state your name for me.
Angela Boswell.
You solemnly swear or affirm testimony you're about to give be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, ma'am. Have a seat. If you'll pull the microphone down and talk straight into that microphone. Actually, you know what? I need to switch these.
Ready to go, Judge? Ready. Ma'am, state your name for the record.
Angela Boswell.
You are Megan Boswell's mother.
I am.
Okay. Ms. Boswell, you know the purpose of being here today.
I do.
I want to ask you some about Megan's home life and growing up, but I guess I want to ask you first a little bit about yourself.
Okay.
And I'm asking you these questions, Ms. Boswell. I'm not trying to embarrass you or cast any
no, sir.
aspersions.
No.
You married Tommy Boswell when you were how old?
First time 15.
You speak into that microphone just a little more, please.
The first time 15.
And when did you become pregnant with your first child with him?
I had my first in April and turned 16 in July. So,
Okay, and who is that child?
Tommy Jr.
Okay, and then you had Megan at some point. How old were you when you had Megan?
There's 8 years difference. I was almost 24.
It's okay. So, let's talk about Megan's life growing up. Would it be fair to say that during her lifetime she's witnessed drug use between you and her father?
Yes.
What type of drugs?
Opiates, mainly.
Scoot up and speak into that so the jury can hear you.
Opiates, mainly.
Did that drug use lead to other problems?
Yeah. Arguments, fighting, yes.
Okay. You say there
Strife
strife.
is what it brings, yes. Non-stop.
Is that something that went on pretty much her entire childhood
Yeah.
growing up?
Yeah, from the time she was pretty little, yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
Good. Now, did she witness fights between you and her father?
Yes.
Okay. I think at some point her father was convicted of aggravated assault and kidnapping.
Yes.
Were you the victim in that?
Yes. Mm.
Do you remember ever taking Megan to any NA, AA meetings with you?
Yes, I did.
How old was she when you did that?
Let me think. She was probably about 7 or 8. First ones I started taking her to. 7 or 8, 8 or 9, somewhere around in there. Yeah.
Now due to the strife in your home, was she raised by her grandparents to some degree?
Yes.
Okay, and what were their names?
Mary and Danny Boswell.
Okay, Mary Boswell, would that be who's known as a mommy?
Yes. Mm.
These problems, do you feel that it's partly your fault, the problems Megan's experienced?
No, absolutely. Yes. Yes, absolutely.
And unfortunately, your problems, that they went on up into, we saw a video in here, you being brought down from the jail to talk with her in 2020.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So even up until the time she went to jail, you were in and out of jail.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. I've been.
Have you been convicted of numerous crimes?
Yes.
Now, have you managed to straighten up at this point?
I have, yes.
You hoping to?
Yes. I pray every day and just, to do my best and try. I've learned the importance of a mother's role, but not for Megan, I didn't.
All right.
I failed her on that miserably.
And you're here asking the jury to give her a sentence of life as opposed to life without.
It's Maggie is at her core. She is a generous, kind-hearted person, and through all Maggie's went through, Maggie still has potential. She was trying so hard. She didn't repeat my mistakes. Maggie learned from my mistakes. And she was trying to do better with Eve. She wasn't repeating. I think she got saddled with, just because of my mistakes that She did. That was not it. That was not the case with Evelyn.
Would it be fair to say she didn't have a good role model for the mother should
No,
be?
no, she did not.
Answer any of Ms. Massengill or Mr. Harper's
Mm.
questions.
I don't have any questions, Judge.
Thank you, Madam.
Judge, at this time, I have some judgments of conviction on Tommy Boswell. I'd like to put in by agreement with Mr. Harper.
No objection, Judge.
I'd ask these to be made the next 4 exhibits.
Mr. Scott, you want to enter case number 61078 as exhibit 263, and the other 3 pages are 3 counts of the same case, so I'll make that a collective 263.
What is that case number, Your Honor?
62497.
Thank you.
Yeah, the first case is 263, case 61078, and case 62497. Those 3 pages, 264.
Your Honor, defense would call Gail Kite. Kite.
It was KYTE, right?
I believe so, Your Honor. I'll have her spell it. I think she was a witness in the trial, but I'll go back to that.
Raise your right hand and state your name for me.
Gail Kite.
Ms. Kite, do you solemnly swear from testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, ma'am?
I do.
Speak into that microphone.
Ms. Kite, good morning.
Good morning.
Just so I make sure here, spelling your last name, is it K-Y-T-E?
It is.
And Ms. Kite, you've previously testified in this hearing as a state's witness, is that correct?
That's correct.
Well, thank you for coming back for this part of it. I know Ms. Boswell appreciates that. How long have you been working in foster care?
15 years.
Do you remember when Megan Boswell came to you?
I do.
Do you recall what kind of shape she was in or state?
She was in bad shape. She was one of the worst children that I'd brought in as far as neglect.
What do you mean by that?
She was very malnourished. She's very skinny. Her hair was matted to her head with lice. Impossible to even get a comb through.
Okay. Well, when she came to you, were you given any background? I imagine in foster care you're given background or information of where this child is coming from. Were you giving any of that?
I was.
And what were you preparing for?
In the intake papers, it mentioned trauma. It mentioned rape.
Did it give you any background or any information about her family background or makeup?
Not really.
Okay. Now, you said she came to you with lice. What did you do to try to help Megan?
Well, I took her to a beauty shop because there was no way to even begin to get a comb through. It was horrible. The beauty shop wouldn't touch it. They told me I offered to pay him $100 to go out back to cut her hair. And they said that they couldn't do it. Finally, the agency that we were with found a beautician that met me at a church that was willing to come in and give Megan a haircut. They gave her a bob, which looked really cute on her. But even after that we could get a comb through, it took close to 3 weeks, maybe a month, to get rid of the lice. Were just so bad. I had to get prescription medicine from the doctor. We got 2 bottles of that. I bought the comb that you run through that's supposed to kill the lice. And I know I practically traumatized the poor child because we'd go out on the porch and I'd run that comb through trying to make sure we got all the lice, and she'd sit there and tears would run down her hair. She got tired of me. It wasn't a pleasant situation. And then even when you do that, you still got to go through, you've got to thoroughly clean the bedding. Everything in the room has to be taken down, washed in hot water. But it was a rough time for her, very rough.
And you may have said, but she came to you how old?
She was 17 years old.
She was pregnant.
17, pregnant, scared, didn't have a place to go.
And you believe that she had been raped or violently sexually assaulted. Were you given any background or information about her family, her mom and her dad?
I knew Mom was in and out of jail, and I knew her daddy owned a business.
Okay. Were you able to come to the opinion that she essentially came from a dysfunctional family?
I did.
Okay. And how long did she stay with you?
She stayed 4 months. When she came in, we got to work, got rid of the lice, got her registered for school. Where she was pregnant, she chose to do online schooling. She worked really hard getting her diploma. If a test didn't go right, she was on the phone the next day with the counselor getting it reset. I never had any problems trying to get her to do her schoolwork or anything. She hung with it.
Did she ever cause you any problems, disciplinary-wise or anything like that?
No,
Never?
no.
And did she seem to be thriving in a structured environment?
She did. She did.
Was she making friends?
She did.
Did she seem to be progressing and coming out of the state she was in when she came to you?
She very much so.
And she was with you for 4 months. Did you form a bond with her?
Oh, I did. We took up together immediately. It was during the winter. She learned me how to play card games. Winter days, we'd sit there and we'd play. Baby'd sleep. We'd play cards. But we formed a bond.
Did you take her to doctor's appointments?
I did.
How did she seem to feel about becoming a mother?
She was very excited.
Did you have conversations with her about that?
I did.
Did she seem to fully understand her roles and responsibilities of what was going to be required of her?
She did. Megan practically raised her younger sister Charlotte and her brother Elijah. She had plenty of experience with younger children.
How did you know that?
Well, mostly from conversations with Megan, and just I could tell by the way she took care of Evelyn at the house. You know, she knew how to heat a bottle. She knew how to change the diapers. She got up when the baby cried.
Did you ever have to tell her to do those things?
No. Me and my husband never once woke up those 4 months when Evelyn woke up in the middle of the night. Megan would take care of her very well.
And I ask you, and I want to clarify that, if you ever took her to doctor's appointments, she was with you when she was with you. She came to you pregnant. Did you go to the prenatal appointments?
I did.
And did you go to follow-up appointments with Evelyn's pediatrician?
I did.
Okay. So you were involved through the whole process, really?
Those 4 months, yes.
Okay. At some point in time, was Megan taken from your home and placed back somewhere else?
She done trial visits to go back to Tommy's.
Okay.
There was a process in the foster care system.
I understand.
She done weekend visits, or at first it was just visits, and then it led to weekend visits.
How did she feel about that?
She seemed okay with it.
Eventually, was Megan placed back in the custody and care of her family?
She was. She went back to Tommy's house.
Tommy, you mean her father?
Yes,
Okay. And did you maintain contact with her?
I did.
How often?
We texted back and forth over it wasn't a daily time, but I want to say once a month, couple times, sometimes couple times a week. It's just according to what was going on and what pictures she had took of Evelyn.
When you were talking to her, did you eventually learn that maybe things were kind of getting back off the tracks again?
I did. In April, I received a call from her foster care worker saying that Megan had been needed some help, and even though she had was out of the foster care system, would I be willing to go and help her out? And I said, no problem. So I called Megan. She told me that her mother had dropped her off at a church. She had drove off and left her and Evelyn there. She had took Evelyn's diaper bag, the baby's supplies. So I told her I'd be right there. I went and picked her up. We went to Walmart, bought baby bottles, formula, diapers, the stuff that a baby would need.
Where did you take her?
We went back to my home. She spent the night. Her and Evelyn they took showers, a good night's sleep. But then the next morning, she wanted to go back to her mother's family's home.
Where's that at?
Now, I'm not sure. The place that I took, her grandfather was in the hospital, and she wanted to go there to meet up with her family. So when she left my home, I drove her to the hospital in Kingsport, and she assured me that she would be perfectly fine, and her and Evelyn got out.
It'd be fair to say that Megan wasn't getting maybe the familial support from her parents that she was needing at that time.
Yes.
Okay. I imagine over this time, Miss Kite, that did you ever meet Tommy Boswell Sr. or her mother, Angela?
I had never met Angela, but I'd met Tommy several times.
You said you agreed that she probably come from a dysfunctional family. Let me ask you this. She lived with you for 4 months, and you stayed in contact with her after she moved out. It's your opinion. You know her. You talked to her. You think Megan ever knew what a normal family looked like?
No. No.
Did she crave that?
I think so.
Was she wanting that for Evelyn?
I think so.
it's obvious why we're here today. You know why you're testifying. Are you asking this jury to just give her life?
I am, with the possibility parole. This child has been traumatized. She's made bad mistakes that has to be paid for. But I think she deserves a chance to come back out to the real world. I don't think she's irredeemable. I think she can become a functioning citizen.
Ms. Scott, I thank you again. If you would answer any questions that the state has for you.
Nothing from the state judge.
Judge, we call Mary Boswell.
Raise your right hand and state your name for me.
Mary Boswell.
Ms. Boswell, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
If you have a seat right there and speak in that microphone.
Okay.
Ms. Boswell, I'm Gene Scott. How are you?
Pretty good.
We're here today because the jury's trying to decide how long Megan will have to stay in prison. I want you to, I guess, your name is Mary Boswell.
Not Mary Boswell.
Okay. How do you know Megan?
Sir,
How do you know Megan?
she's my granddaughter.
Okay. Are you Tommy Boswell's mother?
Yes, sir.
And obviously you've known Megan her whole life.
All of her life, I started keeping her from the time she was 2 months old till she was grown, off and on, not all the time, but off and on.
Why was that in part because of problems between your son and her mother, Angela?
Sir,
Was that because her parents were having
no,
problems?
she just loved me and her papaw, and she stayed with us, and we loved her, and so we keep her a lot.
Okay. Were you aware of the violence issues between Tommy and Angela?
No, I didn't live in their home or nothing. I don't know nothing about what went on in their home, sir.
Okay.
We'd pick her up and keep her until she want to go back and like that, off and on.
Okay. And have you always lived down there on the same property Tommy lives on? Or?
I've now lived there for maybe 20 years, 21 or 2 or something like that.
She lived there almost all of Megan's life.
Yeah, yes, sir. Oh, yes, sir.
Okay. And you're aware, you told me, I think one of Megan's role models was your husband, your late husband?
Sir?
Your late husband, he was one of Megan's role models?
Yes, we loved her like she belonged to us.
Okay. When did he pass, ma'am?
11 and a half years ago. Soon be 12 this summer.
So that would have been when Megan was, I guess, what?
Yeah, maybe 12 years old or
12
something.
years old?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that take an impact on her?
Yes, it did.
Okay. And Are you here asking this jury for leniency today?
Yes, sir, I am.
Asking them not to give her a sentence of life without parole?
I hope they don't, sir. I love her like she's, I hope they don't give her the sentence like that. I'd love to give her my home if I could take her home today. That's how much I love her.
I understand. Thank you, Ms. Boswell. Answer any Mr. Harper or Ms. Masseyville.
No questions, Judge.
Ms. Boswell, thank you so much.
Okay, I'm leaving. Thank you.
Going down there.
Yeah. And I said out here that
It's not subject to recall. You're welcome to stay in the courtroom.
okay, thank you.
We approach.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have you go with the officer for just a minute. It won't take long. Everyone
Stand, please. You may be seated. Thank you.
Now approach.
All right. Go ahead, Mr. Scott.
Megan, we've talked about this before. You understand you have a right not to testify.
Yes,
No one could force you to testify.
yes.
We'll start this over since we didn't have the microphone up. Megan, you understand you have a right not to testify, and if you don't testify, the jury may not draw any inferences from that failure to testify. Do you understand that?
Yes,
Likewise, you have a right to testify. No one could keep you from testifying if you wanted to.
yes,
After consulting with me, Mr. Horn, and talking about your case and hearing what's happened here in court and all the evidence, do you wish to testify or not?
no,
You do not wish to testify?
I do not wish to testify.
And Ms. Boswell, you're still under oath from yesterday or the day before. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any other proof?
Yes, sir.
And before we bring the jury in, one thing that I forgot to do yesterday was when we excused the alternates, I took the contents of one of their books and the cover page, and I gave that to the court reporter, and that would be designated as Exhibit A, the letter A, for identification only, so that it's part of the record as to what those notebooks were that they took back.
All right.
All right?
Judge, the state would introduce it.
Yesterday or the day before, you understand?
Attorney, Mr.
Objection, 58A.
All right. So, what is that?
It's the escort advertisement for Caroline Warren.
And what is the website down here?
belladonna.escort-site.com.
Now, is Christina Parcells' name on any of this?
No.
Now I'm going to show you 3 photos, 158B, 158C, and 158D. We kind of do the same thing. I'll let you look at them, you can describe them, and the URLs as well. You can refer to them by number.
Yes, sir. 158B is, just so you guys know, these are the same images that I previously described. Color images of 158B is color image of Christina Parcell laid back on the bed, partially nude, with the previously mentioned website down at the bottom. 158C is another color image of Christina Parcell nude with the URL down at the bottom. 158D is a color image of Christina Parcell and the male anatomy on it.
Anything about the URLs?
Once again, different. Different size, different font, different alignments.
All right, I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 6.
It's another envelope addressed to 22 Rivoli Lane.
This is one of the envelopes that was given to you?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, State moves Exhibit 6 into evidence.
No objection.
Number 6.
I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 6. Is that the envelope?
It is. And return address is Brad, I'm assuming it's post, but it's covered up. It's got his address, 24 Rivoli Lane, Greenville 29615. Bottom address is 22 Rivoli Lane, Greenville 29615, with the postage mark of Greenville, P&DC 296 for Saturday, 17 July 2021.
Then I'm going to show you State's Exhibits 6G, 6H, and 6I. Do you recognize State's Exhibit 6I?
I do.
What is that?
It is a piece of paper that states, please find enclosed photos of and information pertaining to one Christina Parcell, a.k.a. Caroline Warren, paramour of Brad Post at 24 Rivoli Lane, Greenville, South Carolina.
And 6H?
Is a black and white image of the escort advertisement.
And 6G?
It is a longer list of addresses with only the first one crossed out and X'd off.
Your Honor, State moves 6I, 6H, and 6G into evidence.
No objection.
Objection.
All right. So is this the letter
It is.
that you found? And that's the one referring to Christina Parcell?
Yes.
Now, is this just printed on a white piece of paper?
Yes, sir.
Could you type this up and print it out if you wanted to right now?
Yes, sir.
And how would you do that?
Very easily with Microsoft Word, Notepad, any type of computer program.
And then 6G?
This is the longer list of addresses with, as you notice, only the first one's crossed off and X'd.
And what do you think the purpose of having that X and crossed off mean?
To me, I take that as these packets, one of these packets has already been sent to that address, and all these other addresses can expect the same packets.
Is that part of the intimidation or harassment?
I would absolutely take it that way.
All right. And I'm going to show you states 6A, 6B, 6C, 6D, 6E, and F. So 6A through F. We'll do the same things we did before, and you kind of go through them and just briefly explain to the jury what's in there and focus on those URLs.
Yes, sir. 6A, black and white image of Christina Parcell, partially nude, with the website URL down at the escort website down at the bottom. 6B is a black and white image of Christina Parcell, partially nude, with the escort website down at the bottom.
And that's the Belladonna.
belladonna.digiorno.escort-site.com. Just for future reference, when I refer to the website URL, it's all typed out the exact same, just different sizes, different fonts, different alignments. 6C is another black and white image of Christina Parcell with the male anatomy. 6D is black and white image of Christina Parcell, kind of on all fours, looking back towards the camera. Website URL down at the bottom. 6E is another black and white image, nude image of Christina Parcell, with the website URL listed on there. 6F is another black and white image of Christina Parcell with the escort website URL at the bottom.
And as far as those URLs, all different shapes and sizes?
Correct.
All right, I'm going to show you States Exhibit 5. You recognize States Exhibit 5?
I do.
And is that one of the photos that Christina Parcell and Brad Post gave you?
Or the envelopes, yes, sir.
One of the envelopes?
Yes, sir.
All right. Your Honor, State moves Exhibit 5 into evidence.
No objection.
No objection. Number 5 comes into evidence.
Briefly. Is that the envelope?
It is.
And who's it mailed to?
It is mailed to Mr. Post at 24 Rivoli Lane, Greenville, 29615.
And whose P.O. box is that?
P.O. Box 27302.
And I'm going to show you States Exhibit 5A and 5B. You recognize that?
I do.
What is 5A?
5A is another list of addresses with several of them crossed out and X'd off to the side.
And 5B?
5B is a black and white image of the escort website advertisement.
Your Honor, State moves 5A and 5B into evidence.
No objection.
Not objection.
5A.